there's no good answer on how to build a show. So every director has a way to drive his team to share things or not, to be more let's say strict or direct. So everybody is different. The show is not the lighting, the show is not the set, the show is not the costumes. The show is all together. You need to take time off as well. So yeah, I say no to stuff. Even like sometimes I'm not booked, but for me it's important to keep time for you as well.
Welcome to the StageLink podcast. Today we're talking with Laurent Routhier. Laurent is a lighting and video designer who works both in public spaces and in the performing arts. He has contributed to various creative projects and heads Projet Blanc. He has collaborated with multiple creative entities in Quebec, such as L'Agence Spatiale, Ex-Machina FLIP Fabrique, Cirque du Soleil, and Cirque Eloize. Laurent's approach combines technical expertise, artistic vision, and a deep understanding of storytelling. His lighting designs enhance the overall experience for audiences and artists alike. Hello, bienvenue.
Hello, merci.
Nice to see you. Nice to have you here.
Absolutely. It's like, it's an honor to be invited.
So, do you want to share a little bit, how do you get to do lighting and video design?
Oh, it's a long time ago. I actually started in high school. Like, there was a small theater in our high school. And by that time in Quebec City, it was like 700 seats, something around that. And there was no other theater of that size to do like more rock bands and things like that. So as we were doing the shows of the high school, we got to do all the big bands, like let's say bands from Quebec that were big enough to do 700 seated places. So we did pretty amazing bands, but by that time, learning as like, I say we because I started with my twin brother, actually. So by the time we were like in grade 4 of high school, we were in chief of a theater that was running like shows like I think it's the last show of the Ramones in Quebec City. And I was like 17 years old. Incredible stuff like that. That it was really a good timing. And like starting there, we just like worked. I was doing sound. And then lights. Yeah. I was mixing. Then I went to what we call in the province of Quebec, the Cégep, in between high school and university. I continued there. Then I studied movie making, photography. Never went to a serious theater school though. And I just like liked it. So after my study, I went back to lighting. And from that time, that's what I've been doing.
And video, or just lighting?
Video. Yeah, like video came later, but it was like, I finished high school in 92. Oh yeah, I'm that old. But I finished in 92. And by 2099, I started to do video as well as lighting, as it was. But for me, it's something that always worked together. And like for people, for certain person, it might be a fight sometimes in between lighting and video. But for me, it's really something that needs to merge together. So you get like a nice show. When you're not sure if it's video or if it's lighting, what you see on stage, for me, like, you build something that works.
And you have a similar approach to like when you're using scenery, right? Like you don't fight the scenery, you don't fight the costumes. You really try to integrate everything.
Absolutely. One of the thing I hate the most is like putting big moving lights on the stage when you do like variety show or stuff like that, and you have those big moving lights on the ground, and people like think like we need lights there. I'll try to have a hole cut in the ground, put it under, or like sometimes I will decide not to have some angles or some spots just so we don't see it. For me, it's really about working with everyone, every department to make it the best. And it's not true that if you push too much for lights, and then the set is not beautiful because there is so much big black spots everywhere. It won't be a great show. Maybe it's going to be a great lighting, but it won't be a great show at the end. The show is not the lighting. The show is not the set. The show is not the costumes. The show is all together. That's when like everybody works together that you'll have something really great.
And do you feel like this collaboration is something it's built by the director, by the entire team? Is it built during the production process? How do you think you can get to that point where everyone collaborates smoothly as a team?
It's sure that the sooner you start, the better it is. So during pre-production, if everybody talks and like bring ideas to the table, and like I never refrain myself from like giving ideas to video, because like at the end, it's the video designer who's going to choose. But sometimes you bring stuff to the table. They might say yeah, they might say no. It's the same thing when people come to me and say, yeah, I was thinking of that for lighting. Like, so you need to be ready to talk about what you do and to accept ideas from others, even if they're not the lighting designers. So like, the sooner you talk about it, and when you get on stage, um, don't be like stubborn. And like, I was like, sometimes myself, I get on the stage and I was thinking of something and like, just see that it could be better for, I don't know, the costumes or the set, or you're like, okay, I'll completely change my mind. Because like, we get there and we thought of things, but sometimes it doesn't work like we expected. So, again, like when you're on stage, you need to accept comments from the other designers and everything, and work all together to make it as good as possible.
What's one of the best suggestions that someone else has given you to that you've added to your design or to the production you're working
To quit? No, no.
on? Well, you haven't. So I guess it wasn't that good.
No, no, no. I'm kidding. That's a good one. I don't know. I have so many like especially for it's mainly with video or sometimes with set. I just did one with the theater festival in Quebec where like the set designer and I we worked together for years, and it's pretty good with lighting as well. So I'm like, oh yeah, maybe like it instead of the sides, you just move your spots a bit and you go more back. It's gonna give more shadows and everything, and like so we actually stayed together at the end of the rehearsal and moved the spots ourselves and like say, oh yeah, okay, yeah, it worked. So like the best, I have many examples, but it's hard to think of the best uh, comment I had. So I don't know which one, but I could give you example for hours.
You've worked with some of the um, most renowned directors in Quebec. at least if not in the world. And how do you think that relationship with them and the team changes and affects your work as a designer?
Do you think of one director in particular, or
No, I'm not name dropping. I'm
but
just
not
like
not
it
like
has to be different between them.
but
So,
actually I worked a lot with Ex-Machina and Robert Lepage, and is like maybe I get all that from him and the company, because the way of working of Robert Lepage is to have all the designers at the same table, working all together, doing rehearsals with all the team, and like bringing stuff to the table. So maybe it's one of the reason why or one of the place I learned it to work like that is with Robert Lepage, that is famous for his work in progress and like to always improve the show and move stuff.
well, it's this idea of like different directors, different ways of directing, and how they each bring the team together. And if there's a way that resonates more with you, and clearly the way Robert works has been something that either works for you or you've learned to appreciate and integrate it to the way you like to work.
But I think that every director works a different way. Um, and at the end, you might sometimes work with someone that doesn't work the same way as you, or that you cannot like fit with the way it's working. Um, so you might do just one show with the director and realize, and it's not a bad thing. It's like that working with the director, working with the team is like, it's a team thing. Uh, and there's so many, like, there's no good answer on how to build a show. So, every director has a way to drive his team to share things or not, to be more let's say strict or direct. So everybody's different, and like sometimes you work with someone and you don't want to work with that person anymore, and it's not because it's not good. It's maybe just not the same way to do it as you do. Um, So yeah, with like, I can relate that many director I work with have different way of working, but for me, all the director, I like working with them in different ways that I like, and I guess I'm lucky because I never really went working for a place that I'm like, oh no, that it's really, really not something for me, or like I always manage to chat and to be able to create with the directors and with all the team.
Do you have a particular way that you like to approach your work so that you feel always this positive vibe?
For me, doing the lighting is like, I'm like I'm the cherry on top of the sundae. It's like video, costume, set, everything is done in advance. Like lighting, what do we do in advance? We learn the show, the songs, or the placement, if it's theater or the acrobatic and circus. But we're the final step. The lighting is like, you can draw plans, you can even do WYSIWYG. It's when you get on the set with the real lights. Um, it's a bit like the plans, the WYSIWYG is like looking at the menu in a restaurant, but you really taste it when you're on site. So that is from François, my assistant, and it's pretty clever. Um, it's true. It's like lighting is really at the end, and so it makes kind of easier maybe to talk about things and everything is you have the actual costume, you have the actual set, you have the real video or almost the real videos. You have the music that is pretty much done at this point. So it's more concrete when at the step where I'm designing. So maybe like the moment I have the more interaction with designers, like it's true that we talked about it before, but on stage, saying like, now you see your set and the lights, and like most of the time, lights gonna fix it. We're like, okay, yeah, that part of the set is not so well. Let's try to hide it a bit, or like, so uh, going to others, chatting about it, and just like you see it now, like, and sometimes, yes, it's not all fixed by the lights, but we say, oh, we'll add a piece of curtain. That's the curtain there. We'll like, maybe your patin needs more time or more love in that area or stuff like that. But we talked about concrete things. So it's kind of like, it's my time to do my job. And like, so by bringing a good vibe and to present it a right way, actually like to take time to talk with people and to have fun about it, and not always like being stressed and being like, it's a like, it's a dead scenario. It's not a dead scenario. It's a show. There will be a show. Like, let's try to fix things and to finish that, to put that cherry on top of the sundae, so everybody enjoys the sundae together.
And now, a note from our sponsor. The StageLink podcast is proud to be sponsored by Clearcom. Clearcom is the leader in voice communications for theater and the performing arts. Call your cues with the simplicity and elegance of Clearcom Intercom solutions. You can find them at clearcom.com. Go check them out. I like that idea. Like, to just enjoy it together. And it's true that sometimes the process gets very stressful. Like, we need
Yeah,
it
because
now. We need it.
everybody wants to do great. We all know that while designing, it's like, it's always rush, it's always long hours and everything. Um, so you have to try to find your fun in that. Otherwise, let's go work at Burger King.
Do you have any advice for young people that are starting out on how to handle and manage energy on these long days, long hours?
Not too much alcohol. Uh,
Are you sure?
go sleep. Go sleep at night. My advice is, it's really like, um, I always say, we're there to entertain people. So if we don't have fun doing it, it's kind of weird. Like, at the end, we want people to have fun, but we would not have fun doing it. It's kind of weird, and it's sure that we all know that it's easy to say when when I'm sitting in my living room, um, and yes, it's stressful. But if you keep that in your head, that like, at the end we need to have fun, maybe not all the time, but at least you take a deep breath, you tell yourself that at the end of the day, people will enjoy sitting in the room and looking at the show, even if it's not perfect. Um, then it kind of put things in a certain perspective.
Well, let's hear. How do you think, is it different when you approach, or tell us more about Projet Blanc? Does it change when it's just yourself, or is the project a bigger entity?
The project Blanc started in '99 with two friends. Uh, and when you're young and you say, we're gonna design all together. At the end, you're like, yeah, maybe we should design each one our shows. And not that I don't like it, like my two associate by the time they're still friends. But it's like, yeah, there's a lot of people who start as designer, or even I know a group of young directors that works together. But at a point, it was easier to go by myself. So Projet Blanc is now me and actually Projet Blanc is me full time plus different assistant or different designer. Um, for me, having a big office with people who have full time would restrict, like force me to take shows that I don't want to do. If you have a big office with 6 or 7 people working all the time, and you have to find them jobs, then you're not allowed to say no to a job that you don't like. So for me, Projet Blanc has always been something like that needs to stay small. And depending of the jobs, you're more like video designers or assistants or programmers or even operators. Um, so yeah, Projet Blanc is really a small thing that will stay small, so it will stay easy to handle and fun to handle.
So do you reject projects often?
Sometimes I lie. Sometimes I say that I'm not available. Uh,
Sometimes it's good that you're not available.
sometimes no, but yeah, most of the time for people who's listening, when I say I'm not available, not available. Um, but yeah, sometimes like um, it's rare that um, I would say no to something because it's not interesting. But sometimes it's that you need to take time off as well. Um, so yeah, I say no to stuff. Even like sometimes I'm not booked, but for me it's important to keep time for you as well. And sometimes you need to yes to choose. Most of the I would like if I say yes, I'll be there 100%, and I rather say no to not having time or not being there 100% for a project. So sometimes I say no, and I'm so good at giving references. So most of the time when I say no, I cannot do it, I'll have another friend that is a lighting designer, and I'm always glad to give job to other people.
That's nice. Within your work, you've worked, as you mentioned, theater and circus, but also for festivals, stuff for the city, stuff in open places, public spaces. How much does that difference in the space, in like use of different space, especially public spaces, how much does it change your approach to your work?
Um, but growing up in Quebec City, that is not such a big city, you learn to do everything. Um, and I didn't really start in theater because like I said, I was in high school. It was more like music shows and everything. I did so much festival. So I would say it's more of my approach for like be doing outside stage, or even outside without a stage installation. Um, you know that when you're in the middle of nowhere, you won't have any top light. There's no place to hang it. You have to work from the ground, from booths, from towers, um, and maybe that's to make a loop with what I was saying at the beginning. Um, when I decide to remove spots from a set so we don't see it, is because I learned working in those many different environments that um, you don't always need all the angles, and you can always manage to do something different. I think that when you it's good to go to school, of course, but when you go to theater and you always in a theater having all the angles you want, all the possibilities, um, you don't learn to drastic choices as like when you don't have it, you don't have it. Find another way to do it. Uh, so I guess it's good to learn that way. Um, I'm even like in a show I did recently in Scotland. The set designer proposed a few things that I was like, okay, I won't have any sides for that show. Let's do it. And it worked. I I would like for a circus show, I always have side lights. I did add tips, but no sides, really low ones. Um, with a director that doesn't really like seeing the floor. So it was a challenge, but we did it and it worked. So yeah, maybe all those different places I worked teach me that.
This is not very theater or lighting related, but part of your work, you've decided to have a van and tour around on your van chasing your projects in the province of Quebec.
The van, it's there. Um, yeah, I worked like last year. I was with Cirque de la Pointe Sèche, that is east of Quebec. They're in Kamouraska. They're in the woods. But it was fantastic. 3 weeks living in my van, programming at night, and going back to the van with the dog sleeping. Um, and that was another one that you don't have any top lights. Like so everybody who wants to see a really different circus show, you should go see Cirque de la Pointe Sèche if you pass around Quebec City during the summer. Um, and yeah, so I work in a van. I like uh, sometimes even Montreal. I will stay in my van and I designed the counter in the van so you can fit a Granamy 2 light right between the sink and the end of the counter. It's been calculated that way, and
I
it's
love
true.
it. I love it.
Yeah, so I just slide sometimes I just finished a fountain show near Quebec that I always program in a van. So I park the van in the place, put the Granamy 2 there, slide at the door and program. So it's not theater related, but it's part of my job and my life.
It's become a good tool for you.
It is, yeah. I would recommend a van to every lighting designer,
At least in Quebec.
at least in Quebec. Oh, in many places. If you do works outside, it's always nice to have the van.
What would you say is your favorite thing about your job?
I would say that my favorite thing is that it's never the same. Especially that I'm doing so many different jobs, circus, theater, music, fountain show. I'm doing video as well. Um, I don't have the feeling that I'll do twice the same thing. And even like doing circus shows always so different every time. And so I really like that it's a new challenge. It's a new approach. And like we said, even if every each director has a way to work. So even if you're in a classic theater black box, just by the way you work with people, it won't be the same. So that's the thing I appreciate the most.
If you could change something about your job or the industry, what would you change?
I don't know. I would like, for sure, I would change the schedules as we're pushing more and more to do creation a fast way. Um, and I think it's like that today. But if we could take more time to create, that would be great. But I know that it's getting more and more impossible. But I would change that to have like more time to create, to have more time to think about stuff. Because even like um, today with internet and everything, it goes so fast. When I started, I was drawing my plans with the stencils, doing like all the spots with like and on the rice paper, and you had the set under, and then you would roll it and go put it like at the whatever set designers needed, or you were going with your plans in your hands. Now we email and everything, so yes, we do more, and we do more quickly. We're more efficient, but still, I think that we could take more time to create.
Hadn't thought about those stencils for like with your little Lico and your Fresno.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was kind of fun because like you would ask your kids, or if you have kids, or like your friend's kid, okay, let's draw somewhere.
Yeah, that was it's been a while since I've seen one. Long time.
Yeah, it's been a while as well, but still, it was. I know it was something cool, and yeah, we were taking more time because it was less efficient, but still, it it gives you time to think.
Right. Yeah, I think that's a key thing that sometimes we forget that in this manual process or in this doing the thing process, you also think and troubleshoot and foresee other stuff. And yeah.
I always say now it's easy. You just do Control C, Control V, and you end up with way too much spots.
Hey, then budget people will tell you that you can have them.
Yeah. Then you delete.
All right. Well, thank you very much. This has been fun. It's been very enlightening to see, uh, not pun intended, but to see and hear a different perspective on how to approach light and I don't know, it sounds like it's fun in Quebec.
But it's fun in Quebec. It's fun everywhere. It's all about like people who wants to have fun and to make that job to be fun. Because like if you decide not to have fun, you won't have fun.
Agreed. Thank you very much.
Thanks.